fully understand the needs of the town. What we've discussed tonight, we're replacing the worst elementary school, not the oldest elementary school. We are replacing the fire station built in 1898. We are replacing the police station that was recommended to be replaced 10 years ago. We're not building a senior center. The list goes on and on. However, this money, if it goes into that stabilization fund, I fully question what it would be used for. And I think, as a resident and a taxpayer, we deserve to know where our money will be going. There's a laundry list of needs for the town. Show me the list and the order that you want to build them, and then maybe I can sign off. The conservative in me is opposed to any tax increase, period. However, I do fully understand the needs of the town. If you look at both taxes combined, there's a couple of different proposals. One is in addition to the 0.75% for the meals and the 2% for the hotel. There was a proposal that was floated by us that would allocate the existing 4% hotel tax also into the stabilization fund over time. And if we hit high-end projections on that, and granted it would be a few years out, we could be talking about $1.3 million annually. And $1.3 million annually, I could be wrong because the field numbers have changed a little bit since it's been reduced, but I think the bonding on the apron and the field combined only goes over $1.3 million once. So if we hit the high-end revenue expectations, we could be paying for a school and a field. And in addition to the tax increase, we would be, the way the current process works is it comes in front of everybody, it goes in front of town meeting, and it goes out to the voters. Well, we could potentially be building a school without ever having to go through the vote, in front of the voter. And, I think that that's another thing that would need to be taken into consideration. Shaking your head, no, Mark, you disagree with me. But, and now granted, all of that is a few years away, but why do we need to start collecting the tax now when we don't fully know what's going to happen? We've identified a source, but before we start collecting it, is it absolutely necessary to collect it beforehand, or should we figure out what we want to do?
For those of you who haven't had the opportunity to join us at a Finance Committee meeting, you're seeing a little bit of it here tonight. Mr. Moulton and I disagree most strenuously on this particular topic. I'm a liberal, so I'm all for taxing the you know what out of you. And I say that somewhat facetiously, but in my mind, cities and towns have been clamoring for the opportunity to raise local option taxes for years. So in the process of doing the budget this year, the legislature gave us that opportunity. At the same time, they cut local aid. Now, if anybody in this room believes that next year when budget time rolls around, they're not going to look at each and every city and town and say who's adopted it and who hasn't, then I have some swamp land in Florida I'd love to sell. As far as consensus on what we're going to do with this money, we clearly don't know at this point. We haven't defined what a capital improvement is. Is it a roof? Is it a building? Is it a road? Is it a pothole? Is it my street? It certainly should be my street. It certainly should be your street. But I also have faith in the ability of the town meeting and the Finance Committee and capital expenditures and the Board of Selectmen to come to a consensus on what policy should be for expenditures of money out of this fund, and then present those to town meeting for their approval. We have created policies in the past that have served us very well, and I have complete faith in our ability to do that once again. So, Mr. Moulton, I respectfully disagree on this particular point.
Thank you.
Right now, as Mr. Keegan said, the meals tax we pay is 6.25%. This local authority that the State House granted us in July will allow us to raise it to 7%. The current 6.25% does not come back to Dedham. The current 6.25% meals tax does not come back to Dedham. This incremental 0.75% would come back to Dedham directly from the state, 100%. Town meeting members would have no problem whatsoever understanding each and every quarter, because that's when the state is scheduled to reimburse us each and every quarter. town meeting members would know to the penny how much of that incremental 0.75% is coming into the coffers of the town. So you have great understanding and transparency about how much is coming in, and then town meeting votes every year how to expend or allocate all those monies. Okay, so that's important. I don't think everybody understands that 0.75%, in fact 100% together. Currently, the 6.25% meals tax goes to Beacon Hill, doesn't come back to us directly. The other thing too about the process that Derek mentioned, we're going to work on that. The Board of Selectmen in December will start to propose the committee that will look at the financial policies. The Board of Selectmen have an objective to look at the town's financial policies over the next year and a half. Working with the school committee and the finance committee, we're going to update all our financial policies. This will be an important part of that work.
This is key. This 0.75%, is, like Chairman Butler just stated, is directly to the town. And most importantly, Derek gets up and mentions fire, police, senior center. And this will drive these projects in the future. This is a way of taking it on the backs of the taxpayers and residents of the town and actually dedicating a fund to make sure these projects get done in the future. It streamlines it right to it. It's earmarked, whichever way you want to call it. This is a definite way to make sure these things happen in our future, in our lifetime. Now, the percentage of the 0.75% off the restaurant bills, a lot of that, when I say it takes it off the backs of the taxpayers, a lot of the restaurants, transients, people that go through town, it's not 100% of Dedham people that are going to the restaurants. It's not 100% of Dedham funding these taxes. I try to find the percentage if it's possible, but I'd say it was over 50%. That's just my take on it because of the people that I see going through restaurants. And the biggest part of the whole thing, it goes into the fund, and nothing can be done with the monies. If we start collecting, Derek, it was stated, why do we have to start now? I believe it will start January 1st, and that would give 6 months of potential funding into the fund. But nothing can be done without this body, town, the most powerful body in this town, without their say-so. So the money can't move unless town meeting, you, approve it. So I think the 0.75%, although I am not a huge tax person, this one here does take it off the backs of the average taxpayer in the town of Dedham to get these projects going. Thank you.
I don't necessarily think the way that the stabilization fund is set up, that we are doing it once and doing it right. I think that there are still questions that need to be worked out. I think that those questions should be worked out, and then possibly we'll see everybody in May when we can have this discussion at the annual town meeting.